Jonathan stared at the tiny baby in his arms, the little person who had taken his wife from him. Of course, he knew it wasn't her fault. The doctors had warned them. They begged Rachel to end the pregnancy, told her it was too risky at her age. But Rachel refused. She was 35, and this child was her miracle. Jonathan had never seen his wife so full of light. She seemed to glow from the inside out, happier than she had ever been. And with her joy came his own. The pregnancy went smoothly, better than anyone expected. But the delivery was a nightmare. For 2 days, doctors fought to save her. In the end, they couldn't. Jonathan would have given his life for hers, just so she and their baby could live. But fate had other plans. When the nurse placed the baby girl in his arms, Jonathan barely noticed. His heart was still at that hospital bed where Rachel had taken her last breath. Just 3 days earlier, they had buried her. And now he was supposed to feel joy, bringing home his newborn daughter. Instead, he felt only emptiness. On the porch, Mrs. Peterson, the longtime housekeeper, shifted nervously from foot to foot. "Jonathan, there you are. Hand me the little one." "Come on, let's get her inside." She took the carrier from his hands, cooing at the baby. "Oh, she looks just like Rachel. Beautiful little thing." Jonathan leaned over the crib later that night, searching for the resemblance. He couldn't find it. Mrs. Peterson sighed. "John, she's your daughter, your own flesh and blood. Don't ever forget that." "I know," he whispered. "It's just too hard right now." Days turned into weeks. Baby Ella cried constantly. No fever, no illness. Doctors examined her again and again, only to tell Jonathan the same thing. She was perfectly healthy. "She's picking up on your grief," one pediatrician explained gently. "Babies can sense that connection. Usually it's with the mother, but in your case, it's you. She feels your sadness." Jonathan tried. He really did. But every time he looked at Ella, he saw Rachel and felt the crushing weight of loss. Days turned into weeks. Baby Ella cried constantly. No fever, no illness. Doctors examined her again and again, only to tell Jonathan the same thing. She was perfectly healthy. "She's picking up on your grief," one pediatrician explained gently. "Babies can sense that connection. Usually it's with the mother, but in your case, it's you. She feels your sadness." Jonathan tried. He really did. But every time he looked at Ella, he saw Rachel and felt the crushing weight of loss. One evening, Mrs. Peterson sat him down. Her voice was steady but firm. "Jonathan, I've never interfered in your life. Not with your father, not with Rachel. But I have to say this. You're shutting out your daughter. She has no one else but you. You're all she has in this world. Do you want her growing up as if she were an orphan, when her father is standing right here?" Her words cut deep. He looked down at the photograph of Rachel on his desk, her bright smile frozen in time. For a moment, he thought her expression shifted into a frown, but it was only his imagination. That night, Jonathan came home earlier than usual. Mrs. Peterson looked up in surprise. "You're home already?" "Yeah," he nodded. "I've decided to take a break from work. I'll stay with Ella for a few days." She smiled with relief. "Good. Here, take her. I'll make some tea." Jonathan held Ella in his arms, stiff and nervous, as if she were made of glass. She squirmed, studied his face, then burst into tears. Panicked, he ran to Mrs. Peterson. She took the baby, and Ella calmed instantly. "She doesn't know you yet," Mrs. Peterson said softly. "But she will, if you give her the chance." The next morning, Jonathan decided to take Ella for a walk. Bundled up in her little red pants and pink sweater, she looked so small in the stroller. At first, everything went smoothly. She fell asleep to the rhythm of the wheels. But the moment he reached the park, Ella started crying again. Jonathan tried water, a pacifier, rocking the stroller. Nothing worked. Desperate, he picked her up. Still no use. Then, from behind the fence, a small figure appeared. A little girl, no more than 7, slipped through a gap in the boards. She peered into the stroller, smiled, and Ella stopped crying instantly.
"Lay her on her side,"
the girl said matter-of-factly. Jonathan obeyed, and within minutes, Ella was asleep. He looked at the girl in awe. "What's your name?" "Lily," she said simply. "Where are you from?" She pointed at the fence. "The orphanage over there." "Don't worry, I'm not running away. I just sneak out to get some air sometimes." Jonathan's heart ached at the maturity in her voice. She was just a child, but her eyes carried stories of loss. "Want some ice cream?" he asked. Her face lit up. "Really? Any kind?" They sat on a bench, Lily savoring every bite. She told him her parents and 2 younger sisters had died in a car crash, that her relatives wanted nothing to do with her, that she tried her best to smile, because she believed her family was watching from heaven. The days that followed, Jonathan and Ella met Lily in the park again and again. She had a way with the baby, always making her giggle. And in return, Jonathan began to feel a warmth he thought he'd lost forever. Mrs. Peterson noticed too. "That girl has a good soul," she said one evening, sending along hair ribbons and small treats for Lily. But then, one Sunday, Lily didn't show up. Nor the next day. Worried, Jonathan went straight to the orphanage. The director's face was tired, guarded. "You're the man who's been giving her gifts? You shouldn't do that. She brags, and the other kids take it out on her. They beat her. She's in the hospital now." Jonathan's knees buckled. "What? How could you let that happen?" "She's an orphan," the woman said flatly. "This is their world. Don't make it harder for her by giving her false hope. You'll get busy, and she'll be left waiting. Don't make promises you can't keep." Jonathan left in silence. But when he got home, he opened the doors to the spare rooms. Mrs. Peterson looked at him in confusion. "What are you doing?" He turned to her. "I think this one will make a perfect second bedroom." She stared at him, sniffles, tears filling her eyes. "Rachel would be so proud of you, Jonathan." He smiled faintly, holding Ella close. "I know." If you liked this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up.